Oxford City have been, I think, turned around here. They normally like to attack the goal away to our left in the second half of games, but they're going to have to do it from the get-go here. They've got the kick-off. Josh Ashby, their former Oxford United midfielder, about to get the game underway. We'll get our commentary underway with Peter Rhodes-Brown and Andy Gate.
So, as you've said, sweltering conditions here. Underway. 90 minutes in this heat. How are both teams going to be able to deal with it, really? You might think, sat at home listening, oh, they're just over-exaggerating. Yes, it's a hot day, but when you're on that artificial surface, with all the black rubber crumb absorbing all the heat, even the very fittest professional athletes can struggle. As Hartlepool will finally get the ball down and start to play the ball into the first player of the month of the season, Manny Dizaruve. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
You're right. I've had a little chat with the opposition BBC, and Dave's it's exactly right. We're going to call him Manny up top.
I think that's the best cause, Rosie, really. Manny, I think, is a fantastic shout. But like we say, just first few seconds of this game, ball into the feet of Hartlepool, who will look to start the better of the two, at least, keeping possession rather well in these early stages, as it's Ferguson, the captain, who bursts forward and finds Manny, who sets it back all the way to the right-sided defender Hendry. Good work from this from Hartlepool early on. Here's Ferguson, the captain, again, working it well on the left-hand side. Shapes for a cross, doesn't quite. Ball played back to Ferguson, and it goes...
Yeah.
Oh, cannons back off Alfie Potter for a Hartlepool throw-in, about in line with the 18-yard box. Played already to Ferguson, into Cook. Really neat play this from Hartlepool. City can't get a hold of the ball at the minute. Cross into the box, looking for Dizaruve, headed towards goal. And just under 2 minutes, we've had the first chance of the game. It's fallen to Hartlepool. And Manny Dizaruve, man that will probably be trying to pronounce his name throughout the game, seeing as how he started this season and started this match, Rosie.
He's done well. You know, by the way, we've got two Mannys out there, so we're going to have to call him Dizaruve. We've got Manny Honorisa, who's the 23 at the back as well. He's a big lad as well. But I think City have realised that obviously Hartlepool are a decent side, they're passing the ball. Got to stop the crosses coming in. You know, and I believe it was Lewis Mikio at left back that just got a head on it as well. He got a bang on the side of the head, but he's got to make sure he opens out and he lets Dizaruve know that he's there. But it's a good header. Was a free kick. Got to stop the supply from the wings. Yeah,
it's defending 101, isn't it? Stop the cross. I suppose in these early stages, there's one chance so far. Obviously, hardly any of the game gone in hindsight. However, I think Ross Jenkins will be just a little bit worried with the way that Hartlepool have started. They started with intent, coming forward, and although there was a lot of talk about this being their first game back in the National League and on an artificial 3G service, but they've started this game like they've started the season, and quite well, as Reece Fleet nicks in front of Dizaruve to find the ball, clips one over to the right channel. Ollie Sanderson will chase, but there's no chance he's going to get that in front of Brodie Patterson.
Comfortable on the ball at the back there, Hartlepool. You know, the boys are there, they're big lads, but they're comfortable and play through the midfield. Free kick. Yep. Free kick on the halfway line, given away by Lewis Mikio.
Well, very comfortable.
He's got early yellow. What's that?
Well, that's an interesting one, because usually when you're watching a game and you're watching your team and there's an early foul and the referee lets it play, you think, oh, well, if that was in the second half, then that would have been a yellow card. But the referee has shown absolutely no, scarcity to brandish a yellow card already. So 4 minutes in, Lewis Micho goes into the book, and referee Sam Morhol is very keen to get in with a card action.
I don't know whether Lewis kicked the ball away or not afterwards. I'm not sure, but very early, because a long ball down the left-hand side for Hartlepool, but Oxford City defend that really well.
Yeah, let ball down the side of the left pitch for David Ferguson. That's where the main Hartlepool attacks have been coming from, over on that far side as we see it. But that time Tafari Moore, the City right back, marshalled him all the way there and sees it out for a City goal kick that Chris Haig will take in front of what must be about 300, 400, possibly even 500 fans that have travelled all the way down from the north of England as the ball's helped on behind the back line. And Alfie Potter will chase that ball all the way down the pitch, but the Hartlepool back line have started well. A little bit of head tennis in the centre of the park. Tom Crawford has started lively, the man who came through Chester's youth ranks. He's gone on to play for some big non-league clubs at the very least, like Notts County. He started lively. Micho will just let the ball run, but perhaps in hindsight not the best decision to make under pressure from Joe Gray. City do get away with one there. Fleet, ball over the top. Sanderson can run in here, and Sanderson can't quite get the power on his shot, and it's a rather tame effort in the end that goes straight into the feet of Pete Jameson. However, not a bad sighter from Oxford City, not usually the pass and then move situations. It's one ball over the top for Ollie Sanderson to chase, but seemed to work quite well there.
Yeah, no, he's run off to centre half quite well, and they're playing quite a high line, Hartlepool. You just got to make it. Here they come again down the left-hand side, Hartlepool.
Again, it's down that left-hand side, like you say, into Dizaruve, back to Ferguson, Crawford, neat football into the feet of Dizaruve, but he completely mishits it. But if he did make contact to that, it probably would have been a fierce shot at Haig's goal and a let-off there for Oxford City.
Yeah, it's end-to-end at the moment. I mean, going back to the last attack for City, that's a great ball in from Fleet, and just say Sanderson's run off to centre half, and his first touch was good. It just sat up nicely. If he could have laced it rather than, I don't think it's his favoured left foot, but encouraging signs, you know. And as I said, they are playing quite a high line, so there is definite space in behind if they can find it.
And if there's one player that you want to run in behind for Oxford City, it is Ollie Sanderson, the Fulham loanee, who's got bags of pace. A young man who was in the team last season that did so well in National League South, scored some vital goals towards the end of the season as well, Ollie Sanderson, to get City over the line and into that third place finish. And he started the season really well for City as well. 2 starts for him already, 2 goals for him already. And by the way this game has started, with that high line that you were just talking about, perhaps he might have a little bit of joy. But at the moment, it's Hartlepool in the ascendancy. Good cross in from Ferguson. Haig goes for it, gets the ball, and as the ball, if he spilt it under the challenge of his own man, Lewis Coyle, it fell to, I think it was Kieran Wallace on the right, who's just fired a golden opportunity over the crossbar. And the first looks at that, it should have been a lot better. Not from Kieran Wallace, I don't think.
Charlie Seaman, I think, on the right-hand side is coming, but it's another decent ball in, and that time was a little bit close to the keeper, but Chris Hayes come out, and I think he's come over the top of Kenneth Carroll and upended him as well, but he's got a good firm hand on it, and Seaman's got hold of it and just half volleyed it over the crossbar. But again, warning signs out from the left-hand side. Just got to get a little bit closer out there if we can, Andy.
Well, as we've seen throughout this season, if there's one thing that, apart from the first day, which is a phrase I use quite regularly, Oxford City have been in every game, even the Solihull game where they went 2-1 down. They always just want to stay in the game. They have to stay resolute, even if they do go behind after this early spell of pressure, which they've marshalled well so far, the City defence. As again, Hartlepool just play the ball round the defence and just look for an opening, but it's quite difficult for them if they've got to get through a sea of hooped shirts. Here's Crawford, turns past Nia Kirby into the feet of Gray, wiggles past Micho and into the box, but Nia Kirby, the central midfielder for City, has done really well to backtrack, get into the box and tackle the lively Pooley's defender before it could make a real effort towards goal. Here's Gray again, keeps going, the lively Gray, but again stopped in his tracks, this time from Fleet ball over the top, trying to beat Gunarais. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. The 2 Mannies have got the most difficult names to pronounce.
Honorise.
No, Honorise. That's
yeah,
all.
I think the G is silent. That should be an O in there.
And a very
Honorise.
Easy for me to say, but he's started really well. Nothing's got past him so far. He'll be hoping that stays the same throughout the 90. But here come Hartlepool again. This time down the right side. Deep cross into Dizaruve. Climbs all over Tom Harrison, the right-sided centre half. The referee's not happy with that challenge. and it's going to be a goal kick to it's going to be a free kick to Oxford City. But again, Dizaruve getting into those good positions. He's really getting into those aerial battles with the City back three. Didn't quite get his own way that time, but he started this game brightly. City really ditching the passing play in these early stages to try and go long. Moore tries to find Alfie Potter, who'd made an overlapping run down the right-hand side. Here's Gray again. Loose ball from Gray, almost picked up from Potter, but he can't quite control that ball. Crawford goes down under the challenge of Fleet. Dizaruve into the box, cross towards the far post, floated all the way over to that left-hand side. Brodie Patterson now has support in the captain Ferguson. First time cross into the box, deflects off a City shirt. It's going to be a corner to Hartlepool. A really tough first 10 minutes for City, but they've defended well so far. If there's any negative you could find from these early stages of the season for Oxford City, it is their ability to defend set pieces. First corner of the game, how well are they going to defend this one?
Just got to make sure, I think, Andy, that they've just got to stay with the big guys, and certainly if there's Desarevo is up there, you've got to have one in front and one behind, but he's not the only danger. Floated into the box, headed back into the box, again a little bit of head tennis, goes to the edge of the box, goes down inside the area, outside the area, free kick to Hartlepool. Alfie Potter just lunging in there, he's taking it on the chest and he's trying, instead of helping it on and away, what he's done is he's brought down Brodie Patterson, and you're looking at about a foot outside, everybody back, probably going about 6 or 7 in the wall. He was an inch closer, Alfie Potter. He just got it wrong slightly, and it was definitely a foul. It was just a question, was it outside or inside the box? I think, just looking at where that ball's played, if it was just 1 inch further, he could have possibly have grounds to give a penalty there, the referee. This is where the ball's got to do its job, and the keeper's got to set it up. The ball... It'll be hard and low for me, Andy, I think. Well, it's so difficult to get the ball up and over the wall. If you do, and you get it on target, it's a goal, basically, because Haig will see this late. Free kick. It is low and hard under the wall, but it's straight at Chris Haig, and Oxford City slightly get away with another one there. Yeah, I think City's general game is to keep the ball and pass it well and everything else, but Hartlepool haven't let them have time on the ball to do that. Alfie's playing, we're playing like 4-4-1-1, but Alfie's playing off of Sanderson, but he's playing a little bit too deep, so I think we just got to try and get up with the forwards a little bit more. Yes, we have gone a little bit longer than we normally go, but we've got to pick those balls up in midfield, and when we do get the ball, we've got to keep it a little bit longer. Well, talking about keeping it longer, Ollie Sanderson was hogging the ball for a fair few seconds there, eventually releases Harrison. Good play from City. Here's Tafari Moore, who's just encroached into the centre of the field from that right position, cross into the box, and Lewis Coyle from inside the area gets his weaker right foot to show a volley towards goal, but couldn't quite direct it on target. But again, you said before, Rosie, what an end-to-end game we've got here. Could be 2-2 already. Yeah, it could be, but that's better play, it's just patient, and when people get the ball as well up top, you can make, as long as there's people supporting. Jerome.
BBC Radio Oxford Sport 0-0 here. Oxford City against Hartlepool in the National League. Banbury United in National League North leading by a goal to nil in their game against Warrington Town. Ken Charles is on the score sheet there. Elsewhere in the National Premier, Barnet 1, Altrincham 0 is the latest score. League 2, Swindon have the lead in their match. That's 1-0 up against Sutton United. The man on loan from Bradford, Jake Young, again on target for Swindon. It's Crawley 1, Newport 1 elsewhere in League 2. No goals in a couple of League 1 games taking place today, involving high-flying Exeter and also another involving Stevenage. So, really quite frantic start to this game, almost at the 15-minute mark. Hartlepool the better of the two teams at the moment, but like you say, high line which City have been looking to exploit in this game, and have had a couple of chances despite not having it all their own way in this game, as Luke Hendry continues his run forward, finds Seaman, low cross into the box, easily collected by Canis Carroll, who takes a rather suspect touch before eventually not messing about with it and smashing the ball out for a throw in. This time much more deeper into the area.
And it looks like we're going to see a long throw in from Seaman. Hendry takes the ball down on this right-hand side. Seaman will dart for the byline, goes head-to-head with Lewis Coyle, who tries to shield the ball out for a goal kick, and eventually does. Goal kick for Oxford City, good defending from Lewis Coyle.
I think the crowd behind Hartlepool crowd behind the goal have just seen the Carroll on the back of Kenneth Carroll's, and he's got his man bun and everything else, and I think they're going to say, you're not very good, Andy Carroll, I think. So yeah,
I think
giving him some stick. I'm sure he gets it every week.
He literally does. Every week every week we hear that chant, and I think if you're a regular football goer, I think you kind of can imagine the chant that Rosie's alluding to there.
The words different there, but I'll tell you what, but he's turned around and had a smile at them. But he's a linchpin here, Canis, because he plays with the five at the back. He's the sweeper that makes sure that organises people around him, and you want him in your team. You know, and he can I'm going to say snap people. He can make a tackle when he needs to make a tackle, but he's organised and he's disciplined. And he's got that will to win as well, which is what you want.
Exactly, all that and more. He even has that little game management when you're probably having your backs against the wall. He can win a foul, he can buy the team time, and he's been a real standout performer in these early stages. Hendry, ball into the box, looking for Dizaruve, gets his head to it again, back across goal, Hartlepool rise highest, and it's gone all the way in, and it almost trickled in. I'm not quite sure who's got the finishing touch to that, but one thing is for sure, Hartlepool are ahead in this game. It almost went in slow motion, and Dizaruve, who's been winning every header in the City box in these early stages, won another header back in towards the centre of the 6-yard box, and there was the Hartlepool man to head past Chris Haig, and it's Oxford City 0, Hartlepool 1.
I think it might be Joe Gray. I don't think he knew much about it. As he's jumped, I think it was Canis Calder we were just talking about. I think he's jumped and he's made it back to a point. But I think it's come off the back of Joe Gray's head and bounced in the far corner. Keeper Chris Hay was unlucky, but didn't know much about it. But again, the ball's coming from the right-hand side, and what Dizaruve's done is he's pulled out wide down on the left-hand side of the penalty area, and instead of going for goal, he's nodded it back across, and that's a great header back from the big centre forward, who is a top goal scorer in the league. And for me, very unselfish. And it's a good finish, and it was Joe Gray, 1-0 Hartlepool.
Yeah, it was Joe Gray who started this game really lively, but like you said, I think all the credit there has to go to Dizaruve, who just could have headed towards goal and tried to take all the glory for himself. However, did really well just to see the surrounding area and see that he had Gray in the box and just nod it back into the box, and there was Joe Gray, who didn't get too much power on the header in reality, and I think that was the thing that really outfoxed Chris Haig in the end, who thought perhaps this is going over, perhaps not, but it's ended up trickling almost, or bouncing into the back of the net. And again, in the National League, Oxford City are behind, but not out of it yet in these early stages. 17 minutes gone in this game, and Hartlepool lead by 1-0. And like you said before, Rosie, Hartlepool just haven't been giving City the time to play their usual passing football. They've had no time on the ball, and we've just seen there Reece Fleet try to shape a ball over to the right-hand channel to see an overlapping run from perhaps Safari Moore or Ollie Sanderson, and it's gone out of the pitch and for a Hartlepool throw-in.
Well, you right wing backs Safari Moore and your left wing backs Lewis Coyle, and we haven't seen a lot. I mean, both have got pace and ability. We've just got to make sure, if you're going to play the way we're playing, we've got to make sure that we get it out there. Safari Moore is rapid and he's a decent player, we know that. And we've got to make sure that we keep the ball in the midfield area as well and switch the players we do now. Alfie on the ball. So,
like you say, Alfie on the ball finds Lewis Micho, who's finally been able to maraud forward from that left centre-half position. Finds Coyle, ball into the box, finds Potter, darts to the byline, pulls it back, Ashby in space, shot, first time shot, well blocked by the Hartlepool defender, Narise. Again, I hope I've not got that wrong, but here come Hartlepool on the counter-attack, this time through Cook. He's surrounded this time through City shirts, and Nia Kirby does well to find or to hit the ball against his man and go out for a City throw-in.
Again, you're right, Honorise, the big centre-half, he seems to be in the right place at the right time, but again, it's a great play from Oxford City down the left-hand side. You know, go 1-0 down after 17 minutes, and then, okay, it's how you respond to that and how you react to that. And City have got the ball down, they've not just smashed it forward, they played it down the left-hand side in a couple of little 1-2 passes down there, And I think Josh Ashby would be disappointed he's not actually got that shot on target.
Yeah, really good chance for Ashby. Perhaps he will be beating himself up a little bit over that one, but we have just seen a few chinks in Hartlepool's armour. As it stands, with the results elsewhere, they are currently sitting at the top of the National League due to that goal. Here's Micho, keeps coming forward, ball into the box for Sanderson, drifts out wide, needs support, has to play it all the way back midway through his half to Coyle. Fleet. Again, this time it's a barrage of Hartlepool shirts that City will need to work their way through. Coyle has to turn back as he toos and throws whether to go forward or backwards, ends up going backwards to Ashby. First real spell of possession this for City in the game. Harrison this time comes up through the right side of the pitch. Moore back to Kirby. Kirby again looking for an option. Better this from Oxford City. Ashby, brilliant ball into Moore, who's beaten the offside trap inside the area, and I think I was going to say I think Moore had just done enough to hit the ball against the goalkeeper Pete Jameson and for a corner, but the referee was very assured in his decision, goal kick. But that's the first time we've seen Oxford City really start to knock the ball about like we know they can, and they have started to beat that high line, if you like. Moore's got in behind a few times. Sanderson's looked threatening when going behind, so promising signs for City in attack.
Yeah, for sure, and as you say, your wing backs are the ones that are going to get in, and it's all positive. But credit to Hartlepool, they've gone one up, but also when City do have the ball, they do get behind the ball and they do make it, like an 8 behind the ball in good areas. I just want to see Sanderson just showing just a little bit more, and can he get the ball to feet?
Well, there is a little oohs and ahs around the stadium as
I think it could be time for drinks, but I think the centre half or the midfield players there just spun over, landed on his back. The referee's gonna. He doesn't want the physio on.
No, it took a real tumble there, David Ferguson, in the middle of the park. A few oohs and ahs around. It did look quite painful, but he's going to be okay. He's back to his feet, trudging, albeit, rather than jogging. The referee is getting shouted at by the Hartlepool bench. I'm not quite sure what for. I think they did want that drinks break, if I'm honest, just as City had started to come into the game after that opening goal. Dizaruve that time can't bring the ball down and keep the ball with Hartlepool, but now play turns over. Micho, ball over the top, this time looking for Ashby. Is there just enough on that to find the midfielder? Not quite, and Jameson is well alert to his area in danger to come out and gratefully catch that before Ashby could get in behind.
Yeah, it's a great run. Timing was good. I wasn't sure if he was going to be offside. Looked at the linesman, he wasn't, and Josh is making some deep runs, which is good. The timing's got to be right, but those balls over the top have got to be more of an angle. Can't be straight, that's just going to bounce straight to the keeper. Very close though.
A lot better. Since Hartlepool have gone ahead, it seemed to have woken Oxford City up, yes, perhaps. I think right. They're playing really a lot better. Perhaps it's right, we need to go for this now. We need to start trying to find a way back into this game. Or is it maybe the other way around? A Hartlepool perhaps just thinking, well, this game's going to be quite easy?
I think it's a bit of both, because they know that City are decent, and if you give them time on the ball, there will be. But they've just taken their foot off the gas a little bit. Maybe it's the heat and the pace, with 23 minutes gone, City are one down. But that little spell that City have had is good, and that's good for the City. They'll gain some confidence from that. Perhaps.
And what is going to be difficult for City as well is Hartlepool just start to come forward. Dizaruve on the edge of the box, sets it for Wallace. Now Wallace on the ball, over to the left-hand side again with Ferguson, into the feet of Dizaruve, back towards goal. Wallace again, now Cook, shapes for a shot around 25 yards out, but decides against it, finds Hendry on the right. Seaman, looking to go head-to-head with Lewis Coyle, makes dart for the byline, smashes across against Coyle, and City have a chance to clear, but they can't quite get it away as far as they would have liked. And the referee is now going to stop proceedings for what is a really essential water break this afternoon.
Andy, thank you. Oxford City 0, Hartlepool 1 then. The score here as we reach the midway point in the first half on BBC Radio Oxford Sport. Some other scores from the National League, and we'll take you to the National League North in just a second. Barnet 1, Altrincham 0 is a latest score from the National League. Also, I can tell you Solihull Moors held by Oxford City to a draw last weekend. They're 1-0 up this afternoon away at Woking. Josh Kelly with the goal there. I can tell you that in League 1, Stevenage 1, Carlisle 1 is a latest score. Stevenage had led in that game, but Sean Maguire has just equalised for Paul Simpson's side. 0-0 in Exeter City's game. That's the only other match that's taking place in League 1 this afternoon at home against Leyton Orient. Let's go to National League North then and find out about the game between Banbury United. They're playing at home this afternoon, and they're up against Warrington Town and going well. Here's Kieran Bushnell.
Banbury back in possession again with Elliot Wheeler. He's got a couple of players around him. He's done well, Elliot Wheeler, to get past both of them. Still on the ball, Elliot Wheeler. He jinks himself into the penalty area. Still Elliot Wheeler. And there's an opportunity. Great goal for Banbury United. Elliot Wheeler did all the hard work, and Ken Charles has smashed it into the net. And after just 5 minutes on the clock, it's Banbury United 1, Warrington Town 0. A fantastic strike, and Banbury lead. Little ball into Ken Charles. Charles out to the right-hand side. First time cross into the penalty area. And it's an opportunity here for Aidan Elliott Wheeler. Aidan Elliott Wheeler! And Aidan Elliott Wheeler has made it 2-0 to Banbury United. Jack Tompkins from the right-hand side crossed the ball in. Ken Charles steps over the ball. And Aidan Elliott Wheeler from 5 yards out has tapped into the net. And it's Banbury United 2, Warrington Town 0.
That's the latest there. Drinks break there. Let's find out about the game Scarborough against Brackley. Tim Carroll.
Not going quite so well here for Brackley. They're 1-0 down. Started very well here. It's a very open game. Chances for both sides, but it was Scarborough who were the first to make the most of their chance on 10 minutes. Maloney putting his side ahead. Well taken goal. No doubt about it. The temperature here is really going to have an impact on this game. I think that the artificial surface magnifies the effect. So it's the first drinks break that both players are enjoying in a little bit of shade just under the main stand. But not going so well here for Brackley at the moment. It's a Scarborough 1, Brackley 0.
Tim, thank you. Back underway here at Oxford City against Hartlepool. Oxford City 0, Hartlepool 1. And perhaps the drinks break has not come at a great time for Oxford City in this one, because having gone a goal down, they were actually just starting to find their feet and ask some questions of Hartlepool, and the visitors have come out of the blocks really well at the start of this second period of the first half post the drinks break, and they got a corner wide on the right hand side, swept in swinger, and the goalkeeper was really struggling there as Diaserve was trying to get on and cause more of a nuisance of himself, because he's got the assist on the goal that's been scored here by Joe Gray. Gray, his connection on the header for the goal wasn't the best, but in many respects it almost helped him out.
Yeah, I think so.
Here's another long ball into the City penalty area. They deal with it, but nodded back by Wallace for Hartlepool. Up goes Sanderson trying to help it further away, and the visitors now, look, there's a sense of composure about them that they'd lost just for a little while.
I think you totally agree with you, Jerome, about the drinks break. You know, I don't think City wanted it, but you have to have it because it's necessary all round. But they came straight back out, had a long throw, won a corner. And it's been a little bit lively now. We've got 3 or 4 minutes that City haven't touched the ball yet.
Hendry gets it out to the near side of the field for Hartlepool and touches it down the line now to Crawford, who's trying to break into the penalty area. City players back around and dealing with it. Kirby's done well. Fleet helps it further. Ashby still on the edge of his penalty area, and that's 4 City touches, and they're not out of their own box. And in the end, it's just a clearance more than anything from Fleet that gives possession, cheap possession in the end, back to Hartlepool.
So that's the problem, is that there are not enough options, and they were playing little 1-2 yard passes, where last season and certainly probably last Saturday that they were sort of playing with a bit more confidence and a bit more free-flowing football. But I don't think they've got enough options on the ball, which means there's a little bit lacking in movement. But again, I think it's more credit to Hartlepool than lack of work rate from City.
Hendry for Hartlepool in the right back position, across the back line, and a rare touch really now for Onorisa, and then out to the far side of the field to Wallace. And then everyone in the back line takes a touch as Ferguson sends it back the other way. And it could be we go from one side of the field to the other. Not quite, because Crawford drops into the back line and now plays it forward to Hendry. And that's a nice use of variation from Hartlepool, who are able to break forward to the edge of the City penalty area. Hendry infield. Gray, the goal scorer, thinks about pulling the trigger. When he does, either for a cross or a shot, it's blocked anyway at close quarters. And Ashby is able to pass it back in the left back position to Lewis Coyle. Coyle back to his goalkeeper Chris Haig. Those rare players to get 2 promotion medals out of the same league in one season, for Ebbsfleet and Oxford City in National League South last year. In very, very luminous yellowy green. Forward it goes to Alfie Potter inside the centre circle on a sweltering afternoon in Oxford. This is BBC Radio Oxford Sport. City trying to work an opportunity, and then a foul on Alfie Potter that quite a few City fans wanted before the referee gave. I think he was just waiting to see if there was an advantage coming, and there wasn't.
But I think looking to get a yellow card, because Josh Ashby's just having a word with the referee, just saying, hang on. Like Lewis Mikio did that in the first minute and got booked.
Changes required for Hartlepool. Wallace is having to go off. Can only assume that's enforced. And Ollie Finney's coming on.
Wasn't it Wallace that sort of spun around and landed on his neck or his shoulder? Didn't take any treatment.
And a yellow card for Coyle, I think, for asking for the yellow card for a Hartlepool player.
Trouble is, you're not allowed to ask the question anymore.
Yep. Them's the rules now.
We can.
And the fans can.
And the fans can. But I just want to know, what's the difference between the first foul that, say, Lewis has done in the first minute in the centre circle, and that's in a similar position, Jerome. That's a similar tackle, drag back.
Well, that's what the question was being asked. But
at least he's given a free kick.
Canis Carroll sweeps it to the near side of the field, where he's trying to find Lewis Coyle, the City player that was just booked. Coyle looking to take a quick throw in as it's dealt with by Hartlepool. He has to go back, though, to Fleet. The City captain back into his own half, and we talked about this a little bit in the last home game for Oxford City when they ultimately beat Boreham Wood 4-0. For long periods of that game they were second best in the match. Genuinely, you could have made a case that Boreham Wood could have been 2 or 3 up before City got their first goal. They run out 4-0 winners. In this game, as in that, Oxford City need to stay in it. They need to stay within 1 goal. They cannot afford to concede the next goal in this game, and with that in mind, they can't be too cavalier in trying to get the equaliser.
No, they can't, but when they do have that little spell of 5 or 10 minutes on the ball and creating a couple of chances that City have, they've got to take them. That's the difference, because they're not going to get a lot of the ball, because Hartlepool are well organised when they haven't got the ball, but certainly a lot better organised and good when they have got the ball. But so since they've gone 1 up, they've just taken their foot off the gas a touch.
You cannot play at full pelt in these conditions. City now with Kirby into the penalty area. Sanderson finishes from close range. There is the equaliser. Kirby's ball in from the right-hand side in a composed finish from the man they have in from Fulham, and that was pure quality. Calm, composed finishes at close quarters. Very much the order of the day there. He's a natural finisher, Ollie Sanderson, and he's got City level. It's 1-1 with 33 minutes played.
We've had so many chances out on the right-hand side. We called it about 15-20 minutes ago that there's a lot more play going down the right-hand side. And as he's whipped it in, sometimes every time you whip it in quite high, you've got Honorisa at the back that's headed it, and he's got in the way. That was like smashed in near post, and that's where you want your Ollie Sandersons to get in front of the centre half, and he's done just that. I wasn't sure whether it was an OG or not, but it doesn't matter. It wasn't. It was Ollie Sanderson's goal, and he just smashed it into the back of the net, keeping nowhere to be seen. Not being funny. Once, as I said, once City get that spell, can they get a chance? Can they score? Yes, they can. 1-1.
So 1-1 now here at the Roar Charging Stadium, Court Place Farm, Marsh Lane, Oxford. Under a little bit of hazy sunshine, but in sweltering conditions. Oxford City priding themselves on their fitness, and understandably so. They're part-time with their training now, 3 nights a week. That isn't too far away from the amount of training sessions you get as a pro anyway. It's just almost the when it happens rather than the how many times it happens.
Exactly, managing 2 games a week as well. And most of the pro teams don't train too often when you've got 2 games a week.
Hendry now for Hartlepool, who've been pegged back at 1-1 here. Back to Crawford. Do just wonder slightly if the withdrawal of Kieran Wallace has just upset Hartlepool a little bit down that left side, and that were City able to exploit that John Askey might have a view, he might want to keep it to himself, but that is just a question in the back of my mind as Henry now comes forward for Hartlepool. It's a nice clip to the back of the box. It needed to be dealt with and was for City. Harrison rises, gets it clear. The visitors come again though with Ferguson, the captain, to the edge of the penalty area, laid back to Tom Crawford. He will shoot from distance, and I think Hagan had it covered, but he was just struggling all the way to make sure that he had it covered.
Sometimes you think, go on, let him shoot from 30 yards, that's fine, but he did set himself up, and I'm thinking, oh, hang on, that could have got a deflection. That's gone through about 4 or 5 different bodies, but I think he had it covered. Well, he did, didn't he, because he went past the post.
1-1 on BBC Radio Oxford Sport. Oxford City and Hartlepool. Banbury United leading 2-0 in their National League North game. Brackley 1 down in theirs. We'll get scores from some of the other games at half-time when we go back to the studio to Pete. Here's Potter for City, trying to get it past Seaman, but he's unable to do so. Infield now for Hartlepool, out to the far side of the field, and they're able to really start to ask some questions. City backing off a little bit as Ferguson comes forward to the edge of the Oxford City penalty area, lays it off. He's still up there looking for a return ball. Exchange of passes on the edge of the box. Kirby just can't keep it away from Diaserva, who will get it out to the far side of the field, but City will get it clear, and it's absolutely smashed forward by Harrison. And this is a foot race on here now. Onorisi having to deal with the threat of Sanderson's pace, and he does so.
What I do like about City, like we've got the equaliser now, and you're thinking, go on then. Now Hartlepool have now decided to step it up a little bit, but City have got behind the ball and doing it right. And if they needed to knock along, they've got to knock. They have cleared their lines well. Just got to keep it a touch more up top. But it's hard work out there. There's me saying that sat here with you in the shade. It's hard work out there.
Swindon 3, Sutton 1 in League 2. Swindon have been 3-0 up in that game. Craig Clay's got a goal back for Sutton. Swindon have got form for blowing big leads this season already, notably at Wrexham. That's not the only one though. Hartlepool have been pegged in this game, but they've got a nice little bit of twinkle toes football on the edge of the City penalty area going, only for Ashby to get it clear. Sanderson, City's equalising goal scorer, just as his ankle's tapped as he's come back into his own half to try and help out. The referee's given the free kick, and it will be nothing more. But City, I think, happy just to get a moment or two to alleviate the pressure. 1-1.
Yeah, Sanderson's done well, because as soon as he's got the ball to his feet and got on Onorisi, had a big centre half nipping at his Achilles and nipping at his ankles and his calves, and he's done well. He's taken a touch, taken a kick from behind, gone down, won the free kick. Take a breather.
Canis Carroll plays the big diagonal, trying to get Coyle going in, but Seaman has won the header, not convincingly, but he's done his job. And then Fleet comes across to back up, as for a moment Coyle had been caught a little bit high up the pitch, and Hartlepool will get a throw in midway inside their own half. It's 1-1 on BBC Radio Oxford Sport. But
that's a good thing about City. If Coyle goes chasing, you've got Josh Ashby that's next door to him, and you've got Fleety that's with him as well. So the work rate still is very good on each other's shoulder.
The goalkeeper for Hartlepool, Pete Jameson, sends it long. City deal with the first ball, but it will come at them again. Ferguson has it for Hartlepool on the far side of the field, and he's scampering forward, but this game is the pace of it is just being dialed down a little bit as we head into the final 8 minutes before half time. We've got the drinks break to add on as well. I don't think players are going to thank the referee for adding on the 7s and 8s that we've seen already this season, but we might yet be there. Finney now the substitute for Hartlepool out to the near side of the field. Henry will feed him back in, and he's got an opportunity if he can shoot left-footed to do so. Didn't want to, lays it off. Oxford City getting players back around, just snuffing out the threat momentarily at least. Potter with a header, Ashby with a challenge. Neither can really quell this threat that's being posed by Hartlepool just at the moment. Seaman dealt with though by Coyle, only for him to give it up, and Hartlepool will start again with Onorisi, and out to the far side of the field they go.
I think Sanderson was after one over the top, then he sucked in the centre half. He's come close, and all of a sudden there was gaps behind. It's a strike.
Pinball ricocheting. Sanderson had done that, and when they've got the ball, Hartlepool are definitely happy to commit men forward. Sanderson now just penalised there for a little bit of a pullback on the defender, Onosirisa, who's done well there, to be honest with you. Won the free kick and already got Hartlepool going again. edge of the box. Dear Survey lays it off. Brilliant goal. Callum Cook has just curled it superbly from 25 yards to put Hartlepool back in front, and it is one of the best goals you'll see anywhere today, maybe anywhere this season. That is a spectacular strike, and it's Oxford City 1, Hartlepool United 2.
Well, you know that as soon as it was rolled back to him, it's a great setup by Desiree. He set him up, didn't need to take a touch, did he? He just strolled onto it, and Callum Cook with his right foot has just curled it in the top corner. As soon as he hit it, we knew from this angle even it's gone in the top corner. I don't know if you remember the goal that Kamal Roof scored at Bristol Rovers, and it was a similar one where it was set back up off the head of, I'm not sure, and he's just followed it through and volleyed it, or half volleyed it, top corner. But what a strike that was, by the way.
Yeah, I do remember the goal you're talking about, an Oxford United goal that was scored back in 2015, and it lit up the highlights reels in lower division football that season. It was very, very similar. The man now at Glasgow Rangers, of course, Kemar Roof, scored that goal in League Two. This one's been scored by Callum Cook in the National League for Hartlepool. It's a spectacular strike, curled it, but with power, and it didn't need to dip much. It dipped enough. You just don't save them. You can't really look too much at Chris Haig at all there. They'll be frustrated, and City will too, as they got themselves level in this game. They'll have to do it again, but we saw last week they're just a no-quit team in the circumstances, and they pride themselves on being competitive all season. Sanderson was blatantly offside, but because he wasn't quite making a move for the ball yet, the assistant referee, in sweltering conditions, had to sprint 15 yards to keep up with him and then put the flag up when he finally got close to the football.
Oh dear, those rules in this heat on this pitch at this time of the game. 41 on the clock. Oxford City down 2-1 at the moment. Lewis Coles on the left hand side just asking people can we have a big switch? I'm on. It's important that Oxford City get in on the high. They'll look back at that goal and look back at the goal against just now, and I don't know what went wrong. Was it the ball into Desiree? I'm not sure. He set it up. It's people maybe just running with players, but again, with the strikers, you say, Jerome, sometimes you can't do anything about the actual strike.
I think where City would possibly criticise themselves a touch is their transition, when they have had the opportunity to do what clearly looks to be the game plan, is to use the pace of Sanderson when they don't have Josh Parker available to them today. They haven't necessarily played the right ball at the right time to him.
And also you see Josh Ashby's now sort of like playing just behind the front boys. He's got the ball at the moment, but him and you've got Hendry marking him, but Josh is the one to make runs in behind.
Hartlepool win it back, switch the play to the far side of the field, but it will go out for an Oxford City throw-in on the far side of the field. Chesterfield, one of the big favourites for the National League, a goal down at home against Dagenham and Redbridge as they head towards half-time in that one. Swindon 3, Sutton United 2. Ben Goodcliffe's got another goal back for Sutton. It was 3-0 to Swindon in that game. Now it's 3-2.
Not often you become a Sutton United supporter, is it, on a Saturday afternoon? Come on, this Sutton.
You're with BBC Radio Oxford, 95.2 FM, digital radio, and with National League football for us, BBC Sounds as well. Oxford City 1, Hartlepool 2. The challenge is made by Fleet, the City captain, on Finney, the Hartlepool substitute, 10 yards inside the Oxford City half. The referee not happy with it. Not much of a touch, but it definitely was a foul, and the free kick's given to the visitors, who lead 2-1. Crawford clips it to Ferguson on the far side of the field. Nice little nodded header forward, but Tafari Moore has got there first. Rather skies his second touch. Potter, nice bring down, and he's trying to set himself up on a run in the same movement. He's not quite able to do so, and Hartlepool, their mindset does seem to change when they're in front. The risk-taking is gone, but in some respects that does invite City onto them a little bit.
Exactly, that's how City got the equaliser.
Oh, lovely turn there from Seaman for Hartlepool. Shakes off Potter with a turn that the former Oxford United man would have been happy with. Shot comes in from the edge of the box from Kirk, who was looking to add to his spectacular tally. That one's blocked. Already Hartlepool have taken the throw in on the far side of the field. They lead 2-1 Hartlepool. Decent ball into the Oxford City box, but they've dealt with it. Dear Servo was up and trying to get on the end of it, but they dealt with it. They will concede Oxford City a throw-in right down by the corner flag on the near side of the field. It remains 2-1 Hartlepool.
the big lad up top, Desiree, what he's done is he's set up the first goal and he's set up the second goal. However, when the ball comes in now, he's not getting a free header. I think that's important. It's maybe a little bit too late after the first goal, but I'll tell you what, Oxford City have learnt their lesson. But he's still a threat. He's still a massive threat because he is a natural goal scorer and a natural target man as well.
Two of Oxford City's opponents in September doing battle this afternoon in Hampshire. Eastleigh 0, Gateshead 3 is the latest score in that game. Gateshead will come here. Oxford City, the previous week, have Eastleigh away to deal with. Two Tuesday night games coming up later this month for Oxford City. You'll hear them on BBC Sounds. So Hartlepool in possession inside the Oxford City half, leading by 2-1, and Tom Crawford has laid it back to the halfway line. And a nice little disguised pass there by Honorise out to the far side of the field. Ferguson takes it, and you feel now in stoppage time at the end of this first half, and there's a fair bit to add on, of course, because of the conditions. You feel like both teams will be happy to take the half-time whistle with the situation as it is, because Hartlepool lead, they're on the front foot. Oxford City want to stay in this game, and Hartlepool will probably be happy to get in at the break in front. But we play on, and it's all Hartlepool just at the moment. Back on the far side of the field now, left side with Ferguson. Back in field now to Crawford, who's now starting to really pull the strings in the midfield for Hartlepool, and it's a worry for City.
I think City have said, listen, we're fine, let's just sit behind the ball, let's go in at 2-1 down, make sure we don't go 3-1 down. There you go, with just Josh Ashby's, and they've just made sure that Hartlepool transferred the ball across the back four, and then Hendry passes it in the touch, and City get the ball back in play. So, job done on that bit. Just waiting for the fourth official to put up the extra minutes. I haven't seen it.
I think we're beyond that now, to be honest with you, Rosie. End of the first half, 2-1 Hartlepool. That's the main statistic from today's game so far. Twice they've led the visitors from the northeast. The second goal, touch of fortune in the first, but the second goal absolutely spectacular. And they come looking for more now, Hartlepool, to the edge of the Oxford City box. Back to Crawford, infielder Cook, who scorer of the spectacular goal, looking to create another opportunity for himself. Tries to lay it off this time, maybe could have been selfish. Ferguson just charges into Alfie Potter. The two pick themselves up and the referee says play on. The danger isn't over yet, as the flag now does go up to save Oxford City. Dear Survey was lurking, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ollie Finney, the 14, the lad that's come off the bench, ran into the box, and I think it missed everybody and hit him flush on the face. He's red in the face anyway, but after that one, it's even more red in the face. But I don't think he realised he was going to be favourite for that one. Come on, referee, that will do you, sir.
Well, you feel for officials who have to implement rules as they're laid down, and they've been given strong guidance on implementation, and they've had the drinks break, but now they've got to add the time on for the drinks break. It doesn't matter what the score is, doesn't matter what the temperature is, you've got to do it, particularly if you're trying to get yourself up through the divisions as a referee. Yeah. He'll be being assessed. I
was going to say that the assessors still be here, so, and rightly so, I get that, because common sense doesn't prevail. Ever, anywhere, at whatever level you're at. Sorry.
Hartlepool leading 2-1 deep in first half stoppage time. Sanderson, Oxford City's goal scorer in this game, closing down on the goalkeeper. Rare moment for City at the end of this first half to be in the opposition half of the field. And Coyle now in field to Sanderson, who couldn't really sort his feet out to get it under control. And it's going to be Hartlepool breaking clear and maybe able to turn things their way again. Ferguson breaking over the halfway line. The Hartlepool captain happy to just hold possession. City funneling players back, happy to watch until you get to the final third. Hartlepool, then City will engage, but they're skipping around a couple of challenges right now with Joe Gray, who scored the first Oxford City goal in possession, and now it's like just keeping the ball, and both teams are saying, just is there any chance you could blow the half-time whistle, ref? Hartlepool just sense they can maybe keep possession whilst forcing City all the while back a touch, waiting for an error, waiting for a misplace, a bit of defending on that kind of thing, but we're not there yet. Concentration's been good from both sides in these conditions, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, I agree with you there totally, and basically City now getting behind the ball and just saying, okay, keep it on the halfway line, go across the back three, back four. Hartlepool, just get a little bit closer to people when it comes into midfield and stop the cross. Basic rules.
2-1 to Hartlepool here. And they're looking for, well, one of two things, the half-time whistle or a third goal. The third goal, I feel, would be really, really damaging. And this is opening up now. Dear Survey with a shot that's blocked. Harrison stayed with him. Cook now has it. Right-footed cross-field ball. It's a beauty as well to the right edge of the City penalty area. Charlie Seaman, who's had a good game for Hartlepool, playing it infield to Crawford. There's a wall of blue and white hoops in front of Hartlepool, but they're not giving this up. Tafari Moore will get it clear. Not the best, but that is the half-time whistle. And your thoughts, Peter Rhodes-Brown?
Yeah, you know, start of the game, Jerome, you know, it was all Hartlepool United, and for me, you know, they look like a team in the top four and the top three. They end up in, I think they still might be going back to the top of the league at the moment. And then, you know, the goal was good. It was a good set piece sort of thing. The boys come in, and then all of a sudden, but they took their foot off the gas a little bit, and then City come back into the game. It's a great win. It's a great run, I should say, down the right-hand side, and Sanderson's nipped in front of the centre half and the goalkeeper to make it 1-1. And it wasn't lack of concentration for the 2-1 that made it. It's a great strike from the edge of the box from Cook, and there's not a lot you can do from those sort of shots, mate. Honestly, 30, 25 yards out. Great strike, but what City need to do, basically, I mean, just keep the ball a little bit higher up the pitch if they can. But they are playing against a decent side. I expect to see one or two coming off the bench in the second half.
So half-time here, Pete. It is Oxford City 1, Hartlepool United 2.
Definitely time for a drinks break for the team. Jerome, Rosie and Andy, enjoy, guys. Thank you very much indeed. It's 7 minutes past 4 on a Saturday afternoon. Heaven. What a lovely description. I think it almost matches the conditions that Jerome Sale and the team are experiencing this afternoon at Court Place Farm. In the heat. Second half action, live. BBC Radio Oxford. Jerome.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, it's not quite like commentating from a sauna, but it's not far off. And we've got the sights and the sounds of football to enjoy. I've got to say the smells are an issue as well today too, and most of that is just the still nature of the afternoon, and the football food is wafting underneath us, but one or two people are a little bit sweaty as well. So there you go, you got the full picture.
Sounds absolutely lovely, Jerome, but no sprinklers there, which would obviously help the situation.
No, people might be fighting over them. We're not too far away from getting back underway here, Pete, with Oxford City 1, Hartlepool 2, the scoreline as we go into the second half. Hartlepool were forced into a first half substitution, you'll remember. It doesn't look as if there are going to be any changes as we go into the second half, not right from the get-go anyway. We'll get back underway, Peter Rhodes-Brown and Andy Gate.
Like you say, Jerome, still sweltering, as we just about have a few stragglers coming onto the pitch, getting ready. I think it's mainly the linesmen just making sure everything's okay on the benches. A few latecomers out from the tunnel, but can you blame them? I think they'll be trying to stay in the shade for as much as possible. But on the pitch, work to do for City. Hartlepool, very impressive in that first half, if we have to be honest. 2-1 up with an absolute cracking goal from Callum Cook. But Oxford City haven't been, they may be down, but they're certainly not out. And as we've seen so far this season, they've been behind in plenty of scenarios. However, they've always stayed in the game, and that gives you just the tiniest chance to get back in the game, as the glorious thing about non-league football. Unsegregated game today, despite the travelling supporters from Hartlepool travelling down in their numbers, so they get the opportunity to cross over to the other side of the pitch and get behind the goal, or get behind their team quite literally in this second half. And again, it's Hartlepool that have picked up where they left off in this first half. Desiree tries to fake a shot past Harrison, but eventually the ball gets stuck in the middle of the park, and Ollie Sanderson left it for Josh Ashby, but instead it wheeled into the path of Crawford, and Hartlepool can continue to build from the back. I wonder what the two managers would have said to their sides at half-time, Rosie.
Basically just keep the ball. Both teams need to keep the ball a little bit more. I'd like to think that City would want to come out of the traps a little bit sharper, to support and ask them to support the front boys a little bit more, play a little bit higher up the pitch. It's difficult, because with the heat and everything else, it does sap your energy, but the pace of the game and the quality of the game is a decent one. But I think City, for me, need to come out of traps 10 or 15 minutes and make sure you don't concede. That's the biggest thing. I
think that's a really great point you made there, and one of those points is, although we were speaking about it before, City training 3 times a week, technically semi-professional. Hartlepool, the full-time pros, if you like. Do you think they'll be a lot fitter and more used to the conditions? Because in this game, I thought perhaps going into it on the artificial surface and the heat and the long journey they've made, perhaps they could have had a bit of tiredness they'd have to dust off in the legs. But it seemed the opposite. It looks like City have been the team that have struggled to get used to the game early on as the cross is floated into the box, but it won't trouble Haig in the end as the referee adjudges that it goes out for a goal kick. But yeah, back on that point, Rose, did you think that's the case?
Well, yeah, the pace of the game probably last week and the week before and everything else, but City are good at keeping the ball. They train well and they train hard, and it is a little bit about fitness, but it's also a bit about keeping the ball and being good enough to be on the ball. And there goes Reece Fleet.
When we talk about keeping the ball, Reece Fleet's just won it back. Ball onto the edge of the area to Potter. Shapes for some space on the edge. Finds Fleet again. And that is a really critical block from the captain, Hartlepool captain David Ferguson, because Fleet had just sent one of those low daisy-cutting shots into the box, which was on target, but was also there to be met by a poacher's finish. But he didn't get the chance to creep into the 6-yard box thanks to that Ferguson block. Great defending from the Hartlepool captain.
Yeah, and also now, Tom Crawford, who's been instrumental in midfield for Hartlepool, has just played the ball into touch on the far side. See Oxford City now kicking from left to right, and it's a good start from City. We were right behind that little chance, and it was a chance that he could have maybe hit the target with it. But as you say, it was a decent block. Keep a bit of a dodgy touch there, just got away with it.
We've said it a lot of the times this season. Chris Haig loves to play on the edge. He likes to play the ball out from the back, and he'll be confident and assured in himself, but he doesn't half make me sit on the edge of my seat when he has the ball.
He took a touch and then he looked up and then he toe poked the ball, and I don't think he meant to do it, and the centre forward nearly got on it, but anyway, it's one of those. It's that sort of surface sometimes, and it's one of those days, but we could do with one of those at the other end, because City at the moment 2-1 down. But we looked a little bit more compact second half already.
Yeah, they do. And to be fair, City have come out the traps quite positively. No chances for the Hoops just yet, but they have been capitalising on a number of, not errors from Hartlepool, but they've been intercepting the ball a little bit more and turning over possession further up the field. And you can see that in the atmosphere as the City fans have crowded around the goal and have started to make all the noise in this second half and get behind their team.
I think what was said was, if you're going to sit back and let Hartlepool have the ball, you're going to get punished. So therefore, you're 2-1 down. You might as well just go and close the ball down as high up as possible. But you've got to work together. You've got to close down. And Coyley's doing great on the far side. It's exactly what he needs to do. Close down the right wing back. But everyone's gone across with him, giving away a throw, but it's better than giving away possession.
Yeah, and you talked about getting more compact just in the half-time break. We did see Latrell Humphrey-Ewers, the young central midfielder, come onto the pitch with his bib on, but with his kit stripped underneath it. So I'd wondered whether there would be a half-time change there for Ross Jenkins in an attempt to maybe change or tweak his formation slightly and be a little bit more solidified in the midfield. He's stayed on the bench though, perhaps giving it a few more minutes until he comes on, or perhaps he's just the basic, he's just really hot, so he's taken his bench wear off. But meanwhile, City have started brightly. They're pressing Hartlepool and will do again as Jameson, the goalkeeper, is followed and chased all the way by the City goal scorer from the first half, Sanderson. Hartlepool trying to play their way out of defence under some good City pressure again. Down to the left back, Ferguson. Coming out of the defence again. Gray, who's looked really lively and has again, he's turned his way past Canis Carroll and will bring the ball forward. Finds Cook, the second goal scorer for Hartlepool, with that absolute cracker in the first half. Cook just turns out, looks for options. Ferguson. Hartlepool have crept up the pitch. Ferguson finds Cook just on the edge of the area, marshalled all the way by Harrison. Crawford finds the tightest of angles to find Patterson. Again, Crawford on the ball. Good ball into the box. Gray again. Hartlepool just knocking the ball around on the edge of the area, trying to find that inch. Could they find it in Dizaruve? Well, he does find the space for a shot, but he gets the shot completely wrong, and it's fired all over the stand behind the goal.
Hartlepool 2-1 up here at Oxford City on BBC Radio Oxford Sports. City 1, Hartlepool United 2 is the latest score here. Banbury United in National League North now 3-0 up against Warrington Town. Ken Charles with his second of the afternoon. League 1, both games 1-1. Exeter City 1, Leyton Orient 1 and Stevenage 1, Carlisle 1. Stevenage and or Exeter with a chance to put 3 points between themselves and the teams in the playoff places. They would be the top 2 and 3 points clear if they were to win today, but both are being held. League 2, Wimbledon 1, Stockport 1, Forest Green 1, Crewe 1. Goals in the second half there, and also for MK Dons, who leagued against Notts County by 1-0 as well.
Throw into Hartlepool, midway through their own half, so they'll find Racy. Again, a little bit more calm and on the ball now, Hartlepool, and that'll suit them. 2-1 up. They'll be happy to just keep the ball and not do as much running as they did in the first half, no doubt. But a brilliant tackle from Josh Ashby, who follows his man all the way, and City have a chance to break here. Now Alfie Potter coming through the centre circle, but that's equally good defending from the substitute, from the Hartlepool substitute, Vinny, sorry. Couldn't find his name on the team sheet then, to just chase back and dispossess Alfie Potter there.
That's a shame, because it was a bit of a counter coming on and bodies were getting full, but now Hartlepool just coming down the left-hand side again, and got to stop the cross from this side.
Well, Moore's going to be the man to stop the cross, but he's marking Patterson. Ferguson's up with support. Crawford, who's always an option for Hartlepool, he's always found those pockets of space to receive the ball and start an attack. Ferguson, deep ball into the box, and it's good for Dizaruve, who looks to do what he did for the first goal and just nod the ball back into the 6-yard box, but that cross was just a little bit too high for the Vanarama National League August Player of the Month, and it goes out for a City goal kick.
I think there is some movement going on the Oxford City bench. I think you'll probably see a couple of lads coming on. I think Alfie might be one of the lads to come off. He's done okay, but just every now and again he just gets caught on the ball, and the game's passed him by a couple of times. But Oxford City do well with that long ball forward and win a throw on the far side. Alfie receives the ball off from the throw.
Like you say, long ball forward, which is the Hartlepool defence really failed to deal with there, and City pushed them all the way back when they were in a positive area. But as I say that, Hartlepool do the same, and Chris Haig will look to start an attack. Slips slightly, so Ferguson nods the ball into the path of Patterson. Back to Ferguson, who'll work the ball perhaps all the way back to his keeper, Jameson, yes. And like you say, movement on the City bench. Is Aaron Williams-Bichel the right wing-back, the lively right wing-back looking to come on, as is Pierre Foncu, who perhaps is more like, or could play more, that Josh Parker role. So perhaps we'll see Potter for Foncu and a swap in Sanderson and Foncu's position. Meanwhile, City still in the attack, as Hartlepool will just push Josh Ashby in all the way back to force a ball back to Nia Kirby. Hartlepool pressing really well, really not giving City an inch, and they're finding it difficult to work their way through the lines, having to go long. But when they do go long and they beat that back line, there usually is an outlet there for City. Coyle does really well to dispossess Dizaruve. Ashby looked for the pass of Sanderson, who seemed to run one way to the left, or Ashby's left, and Ashby had already played it to his right, so that attack broke down. But City winning the ball a lot higher up the pitch in this second half, and winning the ball back in a lot better positions as well to attack. Now it's Harrison, who's come all the way into the Hartlepool half. Sanderson attempts to set the ball to Moore, but again, not enough power on the setback, and play turns over. We'll still wait to make those substitutes, as here come Hartlepool through Hendry. Very impressive in the first half, Hendry. Cross into the box, it's a fierce cross, and Canis Carroll does well to meet the cross first before it's flew to Gray at the back post, which would have been a tap-in, and we're finally going to have those substitutes, and it's going to be Alfie Potter for Pierre Foncu, as we called it. And the other change, I imagine it'll be a straight swap for Tafari Moore, but we'll wait to see the officials board. So the first one, Alfie Potter off, Pierre Foncu on, as we wait for the linesman's board. And I think it might even be Lewis Coyle. Lewis Coyle's gone off. It is Lewis Coyle. Lewis Coyle off, Aaron Williams-Bichelle on. And I think we'll see Tafari Moore perhaps change from right back to left back in this half, and Aaron Williams-Bichelle take up that familiar role of right. But his first action of the game will be to defend this Hartlepool corner. 57 minutes on the clock. We're going to wait for it to be taken, as the referee has seen some pushing and pulling in the box.
Joe Gray, he's only a young lad, he's only 20, and he's spent all his career at Hartlepool, and he's come through the ranks and he's done well, and he's been a thorn in the side today, and he's been a thorn in the side as the corner comes in. Lewis Mikio is all arms all over each other. So
here we are, left-footed in-swinger into the box. Referee blows straight away, foul. He had no doubts about that. Free kick. And I think Joe Gray, is it Gray again?
It is as well.
Gray again, not really learnt his lesson there.
Well, we discussed this when we commentate together up at the Kassam, and when the referees see that happening, and then they have a word. Almost every time the ball comes into the box, the referee is always going to give a free kick straight away, just to stop all the nonsense. And he did that on the. Here we go.
Well, in that
back
scenario,
in play.
Well, in that scenario, Oxford City, the benefactors, as that was a dangerous ball into the box. It was into a good area, but again broke down before Hartlepool could really attack that. And then I think Gray has got the better of Canis Carroll there. Looked rather soft from my position, went down rather easily. Canis Carroll just into the back of him. The referee again blew his whistle straight away.
See what Canis does, he gets nice and tight. He got too tight early on, and Gray just spun him on the halfway line nearly, and that Canis is not going to let that happen again. I thought he got the better of him then, and he just got him on the deck, but the referee was there. But Canis just has to watch his temperament there, because as soon as you sort of mouth off to the referee, he's going to give a yellow, but no yellow in that case. But yeah, just the effort and the quality from Oxford City is better second half. Just got to turn that. He's made a couple of substitutions now, so the pace, a bit more energy, a little change of plan. It's like,
well, it's been a tight game. There's going to be a long throw in here from Charlie Seaman. Again, just in line with the 18-yard box. Long throw. It makes it all the way into the box. Harrison meets the header first, and Micho eventually plays the ball out. Appeals for a foul, as City think that Luke Hendry's fouled Sanderson off the ball. Not given, so Hendry will collect the ball himself. Another ball into Dizaruve. Carroll wins the header. Into Ashby. City can play the cards right here. They can spring a counter-attack. Fleet, fantastic ball over to the left wing, and Aaron Williams-Bichelle has a chance to run at Hendry, and he tries to beat him on the outside. Hendry just about keeps him at bay, but Williams-Bichelle rescues the ball right on the edge of the box. Brought down, that's got to be a free kick. It is a free kick. Brilliant attacking play from Aaron Williams-Bichelle.
Well, great players come on, and he's got pace. You can see he's got pace and he's got ability. So Fleet, he's picked him out, and it's a great first touch. You think, well, how is his first touch? How is he going to be? And it was perfection. And he's run at the fullback. He's twisted and turned. Fullback's done well against him, to be fair. Pushed him away away from goal, but he's won that free kick out there. Josh Ashby, dead ball specialist, is going to go out there. It's like a penalty corner in hockey. Just there it is, and then let's get the delivery, get the movement right. It's a lot of bodies in there.
Almost like a corner, but like you say, right on the edge of the area. Ashby's going to take it. Everyone up for City, apart from Williams, Michelle and Kirby lingering on the edge of the box. So maybe an option for a short one. In fact, Williams, Michelle was going to go into the box. Ashby says no.
He's closed it up for him, didn't he?
He wants the short option still. Even Moore's on the edge of the box now. Low cross into the box. Failed to dealt with. Dropped to the edge of the area with Moore. Cross into the back post. It's a good one. And Carroll scores. Equaliser. It's City 2, Hartlepool 2. Really well worked free kick for Oxford City. Brilliant cross from Moore. Met by Carroll. He rose highest. And that is a fantastic header. And once again in this match, City are level.
2-2. So it's a great free kick from the initial. Josh Ashby's come in. He's not going to clip it in. And he's whipped it on the floor. And then his ball's come out. And Safari Moore, I'm thinking, please cross it in first time, because everyone was waiting for the cross. And he's whipped it in with a bit of pace. Keeper nowhere to be seen. He's coming away from the keeper. And Canis Carroll has just risen above everybody else. And he's got higher than Manny Tesaravu, who is a big lad. And Canis has headed the ball over the keeper. Great equaliser on 61 minutes, 62 minutes. It's 2-2 here.
Well, from following City throughout this season, there's been numerous times where they floated a ball into the box. Canis Carroll's risen highest, but he's got it slightly wrong. That time he got it absolutely perfectly, the City defender, and the goalkeeper again, Jameson, had no chance with that. He was just planted exactly as you do. Play in on goal, and City are in again here. Here's Williams Michelle again, goes shoulder to shoulder with Hendry, drops on the edge of the box, and it's another goal! Out of nowhere, Oxford City have taken the lead. And it's Josh Ashby. And I've not barely had time to take a breath. Hartlepool caught on the counter. The ball, brilliant play from Williams Michelle, goes head to head with Hendry, gets just a nick on it, Hendry, and then it finally finds its way out to the edge of the box with Josh Ashby, who just passes it almost into the corner of the net. And like I say, out of nowhere, Oxford City 3, Hartlepool 2.
Wow, what a crazy couple of minutes. Certainly deserved the equaliser. And as soon as Hartlepool kick off, we win the ball back. And Williams Michelle, with his pace, he's come on at left wing and he's taken on the right back. And the ball's just been stopped. Bang. And all of a sudden, the ball stopped for Josh Ashby, and Josh has just gone straight towards it. And he has pinged it with pace. Great finish. City lead 3-2.
Well, I've said it every week again. City, when they do go behind, they just need to stay in the game. And that's exactly what they did in the first half. And that is where it pays dividends. Just stay in the game. You might go behind, but don't go 2 goals behind. Just stay in it. City have done that. And out of nowhere, there's 2 really well-worked counter-attacks. And they've taken their chance when it comes. City at the beginning of the season weren't like that. They weren't clinical enough when they did have their chances. Well, this season they have been, and they've scored 2 goals in as many minutes here and reap the rewards. And now all of a sudden Hartlepool have all the work to be done here. But I've got to say, Rosie, Ross Jenkins made the change. He brought on Aaron Williams Michelle, and he's been absolutely key to these 2 City goals.
Yeah, he has as well. I say pace scares everybody, and ability as well. But now Hartlepool are good enough, so be careful. They're going to have to take the game to City. I don't want City to sit back too much. I want City to just play their normal game. But leading 3-2, it's going to be an interesting rest of the second half.
Well, Hartlepool have definitely, if they didn't know they were in a game, they definitely know they're in one now, as they're going to launch attacks towards the City goal as Harrison plays it out of his feet and into Williams Michelle, playing in an unfamiliar role actually over on the left hand side. I thought it would be a straight swap for Tafari Moore. He stayed in that left back position, but he is being absolutely key. He's hacked down now. But wow, what a half we got here. Took me by surprise, if I'm honest, because we had barely time to catch our breaths, and suddenly City were 3-2 up. And John Askey, the Hartlepool manager, has been forced into a relatively early change in this second half. For them, coming on
Hasty's coming on.
Hasty's coming on. And he's coming on in replace of Brodie Patterson. That's a rather attacking change for them. 7 on, 24. Hasty off, sorry.
Hasty's on, yeah.
And there's going to be a rather attacking feel to this Hartlepool United team going forward.
Which hopefully will suit, and which will suit Oxford City. You know, because even though we're always giving the ball away, Josh Ashby.
Yeah, possession's turned over rather cheaply from Sanderson, and that's a clever foul from Ollie Sanderson. Definitely a booking, but Dizaruvi was away there. Sanderson had made the error of just a loose ball, tracked back, brought him down, and from an Oxford City point of view, you will not mind that. From a Hartlepool point of view, you must be kicking at your television if you're watching on National League TV, or swearing at your radio if you're listening from home. But that's a great challenge from Sanderson.
Yeah, it is, and it's taken one for the team there.
Again, Hartlepool's looking for a way back into this. We didn't think we'd say that around about 5 minutes ago when they were ahead. City playing their way out of danger again. Fonku to Moore, quick play again down the line. Fonku just about keeps it in and tried to play the ball into the path of the on-rushing Tafari Moore. Well cut out in the end by Tom Crawford, and again City throw in, and more importantly, time to take the throw in. They'll take as much time as possible to take that going forward.
Yeah, we're 60, just come up to 67 on the clock, and say City leading 3-2, but it's that energy, the change of energy and change of belief. You know, there was a lot of work being done by the lads that were on it before, and now he's little 1-2s down the right hand side. Moore
playing really impressively in this second half so far. Another assist for him. He assisted Josh Parker's goal at Solihull. Got another one today. Sanderson. Fonku will hold off his man, but can't usher the ball into the feet of another City man, and the Hoops have got the wind in their sails, and there's a mistake in the back line here. Fonku's in one-on-one, and Pierre Fonku has made it 4-2 to Oxford City, and Hartlepool have capitulated at the Raw Charging Stadium. I'll repeat myself, Oxford City 4, Hartlepool 2. Tafari Moore is absolutely knackered. He's just come across rather than joining the celebrations to have a drink, but really great composure from Pierre Fonku to make the most of that slip in the back line, go in one-on-one, keep his composure and score.
And it's now a drinks break. I tell you, Oxford City have come out of the traps, yes, definitely second half. However, those substitutions, Jerome, has just been incredible. And honestly, one of the best players on the pitch for me is Manny Onorise, the centre half for Hartlepool United. Ball's gone to his feet just then, and he's slipped. It's his first mistake today, probably his first mistake all season. And then all of a sudden, unbelievable, what a great composed finish.
So, Oxford City 4, Hartlepool 2, and City are just free scoring at the moment. Quickly doing the maths, that's 11 goals in their last two and a bit games. It's quite incredible. And goals are flowing elsewhere in our National League North game. Banbury United finding the back of the net again in the second half. Here's their goal that made it 3-0, described by Kieran Bushnell.
Still on the ball, Tompkins turns his man, turns again, gets across the face of goal. It's a goal! Ken Charles has made it 3-0. A brilliant cross from Jack Tompkins, and Ken Charles with a diving header at the far post. Banbury United 3, Warrington Town 0.
So that goal coming a little earlier in the second half. What's the situation now? Live to Kieran.
Yeah, we've just started our drinks break, Jerome. It's still 3-0. Banbury playing some really good football this afternoon. Easily the best performance that I've seen this season. The fans are in good voice. Warrington really haven't laid a glove on the home side today. Ken Charles had a chance to make it his hat-trick just after the hour. A strike from distance, tipped brilliantly behind by Dan Atherton, the Warrington goalkeeper. But this has been a complete contrast to just a couple of weeks ago, the South Shields game last weekend and the 3-0 defeat here against Buxton. Banbury are playing with confidence, they're playing with pace despite the heat. They've lost Lee Henderson through injury, which is a bit of a blow. Jack Davis, the former Oxford City man, came on to replace him. Tope Obadei, who missed the midweek game with a hamstring injury, he's just come on as a substitute as well, and he knows his way to goal. But Banbury United really with their tails up. It's still 3-0 and 20 minutes to go.
Thank you. Still Scarborough 1, Brackley 0 in another game in National League North as we get back underway here at the Royal Charging Stadium, Court Place Farm, Marsh Lane, Oxford, and we are seeing what would, only a matter of months ago, have been, if it was happening, this scoreline would have been a massive cup shock. Now we're seeing two sides competing as equals, and Oxford City getting the better so far of a Hartlepool team that have led twice but trail 4-2.
It's crazy. You kick off second half and City 2-1 down, and then bang bang, two quick goals, and then another with a mistake from the centre half from Hartlepool United. And there's been a few supporters just shouting at their City players, not happy.
There's been a few Hartlepool fans really going for their players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry. Yeah, Hartlepool United fans. So City fans have been ecstatic, but we've got to make sure that since it's drinks break, obviously that may well help. Hartlepool, but the ball's up in the air a lot.
And City have nicked it again with Ashby, who's trying to get it through to Sanderson. Just a little bit of uncertainty on the artificial surface maybe contributed to the fourth goal. They've played their way out of trouble there, though. Mind you, you can't blame the bobbles on the artificial pitch, and maybe Hasty was trying to do that as the substitutes just taking his eye off the ball, and it's gone under his foot, and out of play it goes for an Oxford City throw in.
See, Hartlepool now need to kick on, and basically they need to take the game to City. And City will go, okay, bring it on. We've dealt with you most of the game. We know what you've got. We've just got to make sure that discipline's right.
Swindon are leading at Sutton 4-2, by the way, in League Two. So unless Sutton can get a couple of goals in the last 20 minutes, maybe I won't watch the EFL highlights after all.
There was a chance. I've still got my Sutton United scarf on.
1-1 now between MK Dons and Notts County. Notts County, of course, who escaped the National League last year. Wrexham, the other, who perhaps got a little bit more fanfare in their promotion, but they're being held 1-1 by Doncaster in League Two. Nia Kirby for Oxford City, who lead 4-2. Toe pokes the ball to Sanderson, who got the party started, the goal party started for Oxford City as they levelled for a first time at 1-1. They levelled for a second time at 2-2, and now they're 4-2 up, and the confidence is flowing. And I imagine just actually as we get a little bit of a breeze around the ground, it's just cooling things down a little bit. That's perhaps helping Oxford City, because you feel like this is going to feel absolutely energy sapping for Hartlepool just at the moment.
They need to come and get the ball off of City. City are a good passing team. No matter what league you're in, they can pass the ball well. They train here. Some great football being played by Fleet. Everybody wants the ball.
Here's Tafari Moore battling for it. Right side, challenge comes in from Reece Fleet. Moore's penalised, free kick to Hartlepool midway inside their own half, wide on the left. A couple of other teams have really started to hit the goals in elsewhere in the National League this afternoon. Andy Woodman's Bromley 4-1 up against Maidenhead United, and Gateshead have now hit 5 against Eastleigh. Eastleigh, of course, have already pressed the button on a managerial change. Bradbury's gone. Richard Hill in temporary charge, both well known in these parts. As Hartlepool make another change.
Uma has come on 9 and taken...
They're subbing the sub, aren't they?
Yep, Ollie Finney's gone off. So that's tactical. He's gone on a sub early on, midway through the first half, and he's now been subbed.
There's a little pat on the back. As
tactical, obviously.
Yeah, but it's still going to hurt, isn't it?
Of course it is.
The substitute being subbed. But Hartlepool have to throw caution to the wind a little bit now, with 16 minutes plus stoppage time to go, and they need to score twice to level it here. City just trying to keep their opponents at arm's length, just stop them getting into their half just at the moment. That seems to be the most important thing, is bearing in mind this is an Oxford City team that are arguably missing 2 of their better players, with Josh Parker and Andre Burley are both away on international duty. Harrison, one of those who's come in, has just smashed the ball towards the bypass that runs on the far side of the ground, behind the far side of the ground. I'll be bouncing underneath the Marston flyover, but it has gone for a corner to Hartlepool. Ferguson's going to take it, an in-swinger from the far side of the field. It's nicely flighted, and frankly, there was an opportunity there for somebody to touch it in for Hartlepool, and Haig came, tried to punch it, didn't make any connection, or if he did, it was barely any connection, and no one able to profit for the visitors.
Yeah, I think Hartlepool United have got to be disappointed that no one's put their head on it or side-footed it in, and it's a decent ball in. I think on the back of that, Chris Haig has got to do better than that. I spoke to Colin Fleet in the bar. Fleet used to play.
Reece's father.
Reece's father, and he played for City, played for Aberdeen Town with me and everything else. But we were saying that you've got to be strong. You've got to come out, and if you're not going to catch, you've got to punch, and you've got to have confidence in your keeper, haven't you?
Scarborough Athletic 2, Brackley Town 0 in National League North. Brackley look like they're going to be beaten for the first time this season, or they have fought back from that sort of situation with late goals in the last 10 days or so they won't be completely giving up the ghost there. Gavin Cowan's side. Hartlepool United here having to hang in against Oxford City. Oxford City 4, Hartlepool United 2, and you feel that if this score holds, people are going to start to be taking more and more notice of what Oxford City might be capable of this season. They might start to be asking the question, is it more than just finishing outside the bottom 4? Which, of course, is the initial target when you just get promoted.
Of course, there was a long way to go, though, Jerome. And
in this game and this season.
Exactly, yeah. That's another booking. I think that's coming from Nia Kirby's, just pulling the lad back. Just obviously, Hartlepool want to get the game going and do well, but
one thing that has helped Oxford City is they've got these couple of players away on an international duty, but there haven't been midweek games either side. So it's only the one game that those two have missed. And when they come back next weekend, City playing Dagenham, and then that's the start of 4 matches in the space of 10 days. So things are really about to ramp up after a relatively calm start to the season in the National League. Canis Carroll, scorer of one of the goals for Oxford City, getting it forward, and now Hartlepool are starting to look weary and fatigued, and they're starting to look like the heat's getting to them, but it's Oxford City that are getting to them here, leading 4-2. Crawford playing it down the line, right side. Severig is onto it. He can't really rein it in though, and City will get it clear. Sanderson.
Good work for Sanderson there, just winning that little ball that's just floating around in midfield area.
Taking a position up and now feeding it infield to Fleet, who's going to get a nosebleed here. Then he's going to shoot, as he's got so high up the pitch, unusual for him. He shoots from 25 yards out. It was rising and it rises in the end over the bar and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just when your midfield players are joining in, you say, no, bit of a nosebleed. Doesn't do that often, but and you know why? Because Sanderson's come a little bit deeper. He's created some space in there. He's rolled the ball square right into the middle of on the Fleet's right foot, and he's taken a touch, and I'm thinking, go on then, can you? Just got to hit it a little bit lower. It's a great effort. City lead 4-2.
Boreham Wood, who were hit for 4 by City in their last home game away at York today, have got it back to 2-2 in the National League. Stevenage 2, Carlisle 1 in League 1. Stevenage, as it stands, top of League 1. Here, Oxford City looking to rise up the National League table, but looking to keep Hartlepool at bay. Need a bit of defensive work there from Tafari Moore now back in the right back position, and it's cleared away from him for a Hartlepool corner kick on the near side of the field. This is the Hartlepool left.
Everybody back for City. Sanderson, everyone picking up. People have got to be brave.
Into the Oxford City penalty area, and a save from the goalkeeper Chris Haig as the powerful header came down from Onorisa, and it wasn't the worst idea, it just wasn't the best execution from him, was it?
No, he's got to get a better header. I mean, the pace of the ball in was great, and for me, he's got to make sure that I think he's got a head on it, but it wasn't the best header.
Haig's taken as long as he can before he kicks from hand. Deep into the opposition half, and Onorisi's got back and had to head it out of play for a City throw-in. High up the pitch, level with the edge of the Hartlepool penalty area, and it's 4-2 to Oxford City against Hartlepool here on BBC Radio Oxford Sport. Your date with the EFL highlights might be back on, because Sutton have made it interesting again at the county ground. Swindon 4, Sutton 3.
Been my first date for a while, by the way. But I was looking at the results and how Hartlepool United were playing, and like in previous games, and they've 3-2, they've won 3-2, lost 3-2, won 4-1, and scored lots but conceded loads as well. So in my head, I'm thinking, we might get a lively, entertaining game with lots of goals.
Don't rule them out in the last 10 minutes of this game, though. There's a lot riding on this for them, and they've got some fresh legs. Umera being one of them, as he's just about forced an error near side of the field and then takes the throw in, and down the line it goes quickly. Not really thought about too much, and between them Canis Carroll and Tafari Moore will get it clear for City. And now an interception required from the powerful Carroll. Played forward near side of the field, right side, looking for a big diagonal there was Fonku, who's got the 4th goal in this game, but that was more of a release ball than a pass, wasn't it? And Hartlepool just starting to work their way forward. Ashby cuts them off at the pass, and Oxford City have it again, deep in their own half, admittedly, but Fleet's able to find Ashby, and he'll drive forward, looking after the ball at the moment more than anything. And
I just want them to do that a little bit further up the pitch, and the boys have got some great ability, and get Josh Ashby back in the game again.
Forest Green 1, Crewe 4 in League 2 as the latest, as Oxford City win a free kick. And the City fans know that all these incidents where Oxford City get control of the ball and control of the clock are going to aid them to potentially back-to-back wins at home in the National League and stretch their unbeaten run to 5.
Yeah, I think it's important that City have got their win under their belt and their draws and stuff, and their points on the ball. But today has been so far a decent performance after going 2-1 down at half-time to be where they are at the moment. But you look around Germany, everybody they're playing tidy little 1-2s, which they're good at, round the corner, doing all the stuff they're good at.
Oh, a jink from Moore and a pass now to Kirby. Kirby's crossed the back of the penalty area, was looking for Sanderson, he won't get there. Now there's a bit of pushing and shoving, and it was when the referee kind of tuned into it, and that decision could have gone either way, and it's gone City's way. As just for a second you're thinking, all right, is Michio going to get the decision? And I thought he might have been the aggressor there, the initial aggressor there, but he's got the decision. A free kick goes his way.
By the way, Williams-Bushell, who's come on and done amazing, has gone quiet. I've not given him the ball for the last couple of attacks. He's all been down the right-hand side, but maybe he's done his bit for now. Maybe he can just keep him quiet. Here he goes, gets the ball now. What are you going to do, Sunshine?
Slight frame, plays it back to Kirby, who's been a bit of an unsung hero in the Oxford City midfield. Bit more fly it now from Tafari Moore, and Michio gets it to Sanderson, and a right-footed shot is parried away brilliantly by the goalkeeper, low down to his left. That was not a bad hit from the edge of the penalty area, with the City man looking to emulate what we saw from Cook in the first half. From the point of view of Hartlepool, that hit comes in. Ashby brings out a great save from Jameson.
Yeah, and he does, and then Jameson makes the save, and then Josh is walking over, because it is like 100 degrees out there, I'm sure. Well, it feels like it. The referee jogged up to Josh and said, "Would you mind running to the corner?" And Josh had turned around, I'm sure he said to him, "But it's a bit warm, ref." So just common sense.
Corner comes into the box, easily dealt with by the Hartlepool defence, and can they turn defence into attack here with Gray, who scored the first goal. Now he just clatters into Carroll, who decided it might be 100 degrees air temperature and probably 1,000 degrees on that artificial surface, but he's gunning down anyway. Big smile on his face.
I saw the whites of his teeth, and I didn't know whether he was grimacing or whether he was smiling. I'd like to think he was smiling.
Those gnashes are shining, aren't they? There's a few smiles on Oxford City faces as well. 4-2 up, and 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go now.
Free kick, what's that, about 25 yards at an angle. They've left 3 up, by the way, so City have got to leave 3 back and get 1 other back, so there's plenty of space in that penalty area, Jerome.
Ashby with a chance to float it into the box. City have kept some of the big defenders back, but there are still targets up there. From the right-hand side, he curls it to the back of the box, and Michio with the header parried away. Could it come back in off the goalkeeper? It can! City get a 5th. Fonku gets his 2nd, and Oxford City in dreamland. 5 minutes to go, 5-2 up against Hartlepool.
Wow, what a second half we've seen by Oxford City. You know the old cliche, game of 2 halves? My goodness. It's a great ball in. As I said, I think that's ridiculous for me that they've left 3 up and not defended that well. Really good header back in. Keeper's made a good save again. But Fonku's come in and just smashed it in a bit of an angle, bit of a dodgy angle, but hadn't it hit it well. I think the keeper's actually carried it over the line. So another great finish. Good celebrations, by the way, from the lads. 5-2 here. Oxford City lead.
Take your time over the celebrations, ease into the clock a little bit. You're only getting 30 seconds on either way.
And don't jump on me too much because I'm a little bit warm out here.
It's a really good point. I mean, you talk about being a game of two halves. In many respects, I don't think Hartlepool were as dominant as Boreham Wood were at times in the previous home game here. But we're seeing now a City team that are getting a reputation for coming good. They were down against Solihull Moors, who were the league leaders last week, and they came back for a 3-3. They were really under the cosh against Boreham Wood, but yet ultimately with 4 goals in the final quarter of the game, win 4-0. Now, I'm not saying they were quite as under the pump here against Hartlepool at times today, but twice they've trailed and now they lead 5-2. And a challenge comes in there from, and this is part of the reason why, Fonku just illustrating the determination of Oxford City. He's got 2 goals and yet he's still scampering back and making sure that only a corner is won by Hartlepool here.
Yeah, and his goals will count. That's what he needs, that's what he wants. But again, everybody back, Oxford City players back in the area. Referee's having a little look at swinging corner.
Dealt with by Chris Haig as it was just flicked up near side off the boot of one of the defenders who'd gone forward. In fact, Tom Crawford who'd gone forward, and that was again a sort of tired, frustrated, almost resignation, wasn't it? That flick at the near post from that corner.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? Oh, that's
that looked like a foul
given
by Fonku. Ferguson again felt the touch and was going down, and I don't blame him.
Just before Fonku scored that 5th for City, I was going to say to you, you're not being funny because obviously we know Hartlepool are decent. If they make it 4-3, it's going to be a joy. It's one of those you could just sense that. But bang, Oxford City go the other end and go 5-2. I'm going to say it's game over, but it's 86, 87 on the clock.
I know what you mean, though. We talk about sort of 2-0 being a funny scoreline, but 4-2 equally so. Hartlepool, the confidence would have been flowing, the questions would have gone into the Oxford City minds, and you might say they don't quite have the team out there now with the substitutions that they've made to try and see it out. Carroll now bundles into a challenge, and how's your afternoon, Hartlepool, there? Because again, that's one that could have gone either way depending on when your eyes lock in from the referee's point of view. And
well, I watched the
he's given the decision to City.
Yeah, yes, I watched the challenge just before that where Umara is the big 9. He's come on and he's playing up top with a couple of other lads up there as well, and he's big and strong, and he was trying to hold off Canis Carroll on the previous one, and Canis won that one. He wasn't happy, and he just backed into him, and Canis has just played that game so well and won that free kick.
City starting just to put a little bit of distance between themselves and that bottom 4 as Carroll now rises again, and no decision goes his way. Unera might have expected it to, but it did not. And now Fleet making a run from deep, right edge of the penalty area. Sanderson making a run into the box. Can he pick him out? Dealt with by Crawford, who got back in to try and help out. 5-2 Oxford City. Danger not over from a Hartlepool perspective. That looked like it might have been handled there by Williams-Bushell, but the referee allows play to go on. And the work rate is still epic from the Oxford City players, who are defending a 3-goal lead here now, but they're defending it as if it was 1.
As you do, of course you do. You're going to have to do that. Canis has got the ball on the right back. He pretends to play back to the keeper and strikes it. Good lad. Into the corner flag. Just chase that. Get him turned. Could have done with another club, I think. Could have gone another 10 yards.
Exeter 1, Leyton Orient 2 in League 1, only one of a couple of results, and Exeter spurning the chance to go top of the table, it would seem. League 2, Wrexham 2, Doncaster 1, Elliott Lee with what looks to be a winner 2 minutes from time in that game, and Swindon now 5-3 up in League 2 against Sutton. Minute to go plus stoppage time here. Just a little bit of breeze around the ground that's making it slightly more comfortable, and that 5th Oxford City goal has made it even more comfortable for the home side, who are, I'm sure, looking forward to getting to not a hot shower but a cool one at the end of this one.
Yeah, and a cold lemonade, I think, as well. It's thoroughly deserved. The second half was not just about scoring goals, it's about work rate and stopping Hartlepool from playing as well.
Into the City box it goes. Carroll can't deal with it. Cook tries his luck for a second spectacular one out of play, and there's a bit of an argument going on. Anura and Carroll are at it, shall we say.
Yeah, that's a great little combination where they know they're in a game. Keep an eye on that. But Tom Harrison's come over straight away, picked them both up. Just want to...
The referee, I think, has been alerted to it. Amira and Carroll, they've sorted themselves out. There's going to be a substitution for Oxford City here as well. As we get into the stoppage time, I think Ross Jenkins is probably happy to try and run the clock down a little bit more. Josh Ashby, another great performance from him, another fine finish from him today. He's going to make way. And Joe Wilson is going to come on for City for the stoppage time.
Yeah, Josh has been quality all game. Keeping the ball, he's always been in the right place at the right time, and with the goal as well. The goal just typifies his performance today, and he's been everywhere all over the pitch. It's just been immense.
Is the comeback on for Brackley, who've got an injury time goal from Danny Newton from the penalty spot at Scarborough. They have got stoppage time only, the Saints, to try and preserve their unbeaten run in the National League North. 8 minutes of stoppage time have been added at the end of this second half, which I don't think anyone's massively over the moon with, to be absolutely honest with you. But I tell you what, Oxford City will be happier that they've got that fifth goal that just protects the situation for them now. And the stoppage time's been added on, and you feel like it's going to be immaterial, but because Hartlepool now look done, don't they?
Yeah, I believe it's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes added time here, which is a lot.
If there was a goal in it, I would have really perked up the Hartlepool supporters who've got a long journey home, many of them, after this one. They just want to see a little bit more from, particularly, I think, the substitutes who are not getting the decisions. Again, Imara's absolutely after the referee, and I think he's got a case. In a couple of times, it looks like he's been fouled, almost a routine decision that hasn't gone his way. And he's tasseling again here with Carroll, and he's nicked it off him. That's the better way of doing it. And he shoots from distance, and I tell you what, that was doing all the things it needed to do. It was moving and curling, but such is his luck, is moved and curled just the wrong way at just the last moment.
Yep. Canis, I think...
And he's booked now, I think, for arguing that he wasn't getting a decision a moment or two earlier on.
Yeah, Canis has just got to be careful. He's just dwelled on the ball for me too much and too long. He was inviting him over to... He's inviting him over to make a challenge, and Canis tried to drag it back and maybe try and meg him, but I think Canis has just got to clear his lines.
On a steamy afternoon in Oxford, it is Oxford City 5, Hartlepool United 2. In League One, Stevenage look like they're going to go top of the table, but they'll not go emphatically so, because they've been pegged back in stoppage time by Joe Garner of Carlisle. It's 2-2 in that game. Couple of all right results for Oxford United, who aren't playing today because of their plethora of players called up for international duty. Now here's Michio for City, carrying the ball forward. They want a free kick that's not given. A few around the ground, actually. The Hartlepool supporters, a lot of them making way. A lot of Oxford City supporters think just desperate to get to the queue for the drinks at the end of this one as well. So the crowd actually feels a little thin now compared to what it's been as the afternoon has gone on. Into the penalty area it goes for Hartlepool. Little flicked header, but straight through to Chris Hagel, take his time over it.
Just looking when the ball comes into the area from either wing now, you've got 1, 2, 3, I'm counting 6 or 7 City players behind the ball and making it difficult for them to just roll it into feet. I think in the first half they just lacked a little bit of discipline by being a bit too far away from people. Now straight away it's just get tight, don't let them have time on the ball. Very disciplined second half.
Into the penalty area it goes for City. Could they really put the icing on the cake here? Kirby, right-footed shot, headed up in the air defensively there by one of the better players for Hartlepool today, Onorisa. Here's Michio to the far side of the field, out of harm's way from a City point of view, as it's swept to the near side now to Carroll, and then to Moore, and then all the way back to Chris Haig, the Oxford City goalkeeper. Twice he's conceded a go-ahead goal for Hartlepool. Twice City have come back, and then they've kept going, and they lead by 5 goals to 2 here, deep in stoppage time. BBC Radio Oxford Sport, as Haig just gives the attacker the eyes and plays it one side of him, looking the other. And Canis Carroll now, forward it goes to Foncu's on a hat-trick.
I was just about to say that, but he's getting the ball nice and deep. He's not fussed about that.
Now the ball down the line near side of the field. This is an opportunity for Williams Bichelle, but challenge comes in on him from Crawford. And we're playing simply now for the benefit of the referee's assessor, I feel, in some regards. The 8 minutes are added and we're going to have them, even though this game is over to all intents and purposes.
I mean, it's the Hartlepool just want to get off the pitch for sure and get on the bus.
Williams, Bichelle, back to Moore. Foncu gathering it in, edge of the penalty area. Out to the near side of the field it goes once more. Maybe a cross, maybe a chance just to hold it up by the corner flag for City. They'll do the latter.
It's clever play, honestly. The little 1-2s and little keep ball sessions that everybody does at whatever level you play. Everyone does keep ball sessions in little boxes, little squares.
And this will help them going forward, because there'll be times when they're in this situation where it is only one goal in it and they're not playing with the cushion that they have now.
Yep.
As we said earlier on, for many, many, many years, any result like this would be one of the big cup shocks of the season. Now, they're playing as equals, and Oxford City are going to beat Hartlepool United comfortably in the end.
It wasn't long before since Oxford United were playing them back in the day, so it's a bit of a fall from grace for Hartlepool United, but certainly where City are now in their world, it's a great result. It's a great performance. It's a gritty performance. It's a well-disciplined performance, and should come off with a standing ovation, I'm sure.
And that
Carriscow's been immense today.
He really has. Another headed clearance there from him. He's on the score sheet as well. Near side of the field, the ball is with Ferguson for Hartlepool. We're just playing the clock down here. Gray got a goal early on for Hartlepool, now laying it off. Maybe a chance for Hendry to work something right side, make the scoreline a little bit less painful. It's not going to happen there, though, with a cross in that's headed behind tamely for a City goal kick.
I mean, that just sums Hartlepool up. I think they've done well to get the ball out down the right hand side, and they set the fullback up to cross it in, which he does. The league's top goal scorer peels out from the back, and he just doesn't head the ball anywhere near like he should do. He's just like powder puff header that goes behind a goal for a goal kick. They've had their stuff knocked out of them today.
You're with BBC Radio Oxford Sport. We're live at Oxford City against Hartlepool, and it's Oxford City 5, Hartlepool 2, and people around the Oxford City camp are just listening to that scoreline as we say it, and their eyes bulge a little bit. There is a case of just having to pinch yourself that you're in this situation a touch, and they have to believe it, and they have to believe they're worthy of it as well, Rosie.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's not a free scoreline where one's come off of somebody's backside or not been fortunate to win. This is the proper result, and this is a proper scoreline that people are here can realise that how good.
That's it.
The second
Another
half
win.
was amazing.
It was. The second half was amazing. Another win for Oxford City at home. 5 unbeaten now in the round in the National League. Hartlepool players looking absolutely out on their feet. Some of the City players are too, and you can understand it. In victory, you don't feel quite as exhausted, but in energy-sapping conditions, Oxford City just stayed the course longer, and they win this one, Peter Rhodes-Brown, by 5-2.
Yeah, I mean, people around me just said, I didn't see that coming. Well, I'll tell you what, the way we started second half, the way City started and come out, we said we'd like to see City come out of the traps and do a little bit better. And we took the game, and then you get the one goal to bring it into level. And then I think the next goal, the one that that Josh Ashby scored to go 3-2, after about, another 30 seconds, was just the one to turn it around. And then you think, go on then. Hang on for a while with that one and keep the ball, and then within another couple of minutes, centre half makes a bad mistake. He slips, and Foncu, he's on 1-on-1 with the keeper, and I say, please score, because that'll take it to 4-2, and he does. Calm finish, and then all of a sudden, bang! You get another one a little bit later on, and because Hartlepool committed people forward, which they had to do, created space, but. The Hartlepool players are going towards their supporters and clapping them, but they're not getting much response back, to be honest.
No, and you've seen this Rosie, haven't you, when we've covered Oxford United in the National League, and you go to grounds that you never heard of, you're thinking about Oxford United losing by a similar scoreline at Histon once upon a time on the outskirts of Cambridge, and I suspect this feels a little bit like that from our Hartlepool perspective.
Yeah, it does. You you compare those sort of things, and just looking to my right where you've got your 100 or 200 Oxford City,
the real vocal Oxford City fans.
Yeah. They've got to go home and do their homework, I'm sure, for tomorrow. But they're a good set of lads and lasses there, and the Oxford City players are going over there and appreciate all the support that they've got today from everybody. It's just, and a lady just come up to us and said, "You were brilliant." I don't know whether it meant me or you, but she was from...
Maybe both of us.
Oh no.
Did she say it in a nice northeast accent?
She did, yeah. She looked at you and spoke to me. She said you were brilliant, whether that was commentary or whether that was the game. I'm sure it was the game. No, it's great. I mean, totally deserved. And the season has kicked off, and there's no one to fear us. City.
Ross Jenkins, the Oxford City manager, barely smiles, and his face looks like Oxford City have lost. Everyone else around him, quite the opposite. Here, it is finished. Oxford City 5, Hartlepool United 2.